Hi everyone, my name is Jackson from the SportNinja training team, and in this video, I'll be walking you through how to set up and score a hockey game on the SportNinja app. Before I begin scoring, I'm going to show you how it looks from a team rep perspective. Now, on the home screen, if you click the For You tab that's right next to News, you can see your attendance for your next upcoming game. As a player, you can let your team know that you'll be there by marking your attendance. This is useful information for the team rep and the scorekeeper. As a team rep, you can see who is coming to the game and manage your team's attendance by clicking on the Manage Team Attendance button. You can also change or update attendance for your team, fix jersey numbers for this game, and pick the starting goalie. Here, I'll mark Harry as the starting goaltender and I'll update Jackson's jersey number to 9 specifically for this game. All of this information helps the scorekeeper when setting up the game. Now I'll show you how scorekeeping works. As the scorekeeper, timekeeper, and referee, you can access the game through the Games tab. I've selected today's game at 6 p.m. As a scorekeeper, I have access to these 3 buttons at the top that allow me to verify attendance and score the game. Only scorekeepers or users logged in as scorekeepers can view these buttons. Before starting a game, I can adjust the game status if needed. For example, I can mark the game as forfeited, postponed, or suspended and immediately notify all participants via email and push notifications. There are automations that will assign points for the non-forfeiting teams. Now we're moving on to setting up the game. To begin, I'll confirm the attendance for each team by pressing Set Up Home or Visitor Roster. As a scorekeeper, I verify who is physically present. I can use the team's attendance responses as a guide, but then make real-time adjustments like deselecting players who are absent. If needed, I can add a player to this game that isn't on the roster. Say for example, if a player is staying on the ice from a prior game. This can be done by clicking on the plus sign with the person in the top right corner, then searching the organization's player list. We recommend including at least 6 characters in your search, or creating a new player. Players added this way to a game will be marked as affiliates, meaning they only appear for this game and do not become permanent team members. They will have stats for this team and game, but will not be a full-time player on the roster. They must be added to the team roster itself for them to be added to the team and included for future games. Once both team rosters are confirmed, you can add the game officials, select the referees, and mark yourself as the scorekeeper. If any officials are not listed, they can be added on the spot if needed. It's worth noting that the scorekeeper assignment might already be set up for you, so this step is primarily to confirm that you are listed correctly and the assigned referees are accurate. After all confirmations, hit done and the game setup is complete. Now on to scoring the game. I press start game to begin and the game duration defaults to the period length set by the league for this competition. This can be adjusted if necessary. To record a goal, press the plus button for the scoring team. Enter the time of the goal, for example 17:20, assign the goal to a player and add any assists. If no player is assigned, I can leave the goal as unassigned and update it later if needed. Confirm the goal type, even strength, power play. Pressing confirm officially records the goal as scored. Now for recording penalties. To add a penalty, press the plus button for the team penalized. Input the time, for example 11 minutes. Assign the penalty to a player or the team. Select the penalty type, elbowing for example, and its duration, 2 minutes. Now on to tracking shots. Goals automatically count as shots, but additional shots can be logged by simply pressing the plus button for each team. Now moving on to edits during the game. If I need to make changes during the game, I can edit goals, penalties, or other details directly. For example, I can change who scored a goal or add assists from a prior goal. I can also adjust the goal type, for example, changing it to power play. Moving on to changing goalies. I can swap goalies mid-game, such as for an empty net or a goalie substitution. At the end of the period, once scoring is complete, press end period, then select start next period to set the length for the new period. If your game concludes after the final scheduled period, such as the 3rd period, press end period, then end game to mark it as final. However, if the game proceeds into overtime, press end 3rd period, then select start next period. This will automatically transition the game into overtime. In the event of a shootout, press end period, then select begin shootout. During the shootout, you can choose both goalies and shooters, then record the outcome, scored or missed, for each round. Once the shootout or overtime concludes, or if you need to end the game at any point, press end shootout or end game. The game will then be marked as final. The digital printable PDF score sheet is automatically generated, complete with all recorded stats. The completed score sheet can be downloaded, shared via email, or texted as needed. That concludes the scoring overview for Full Stats Hockey.